Beside the Palm, Season 3, Episode 1.
I should start doing that. I should start doing faces when she moves that away. Well, welcome everyone to Beside the Palm, Season 3, Episode 1. Can't believe we are already on a third season of this. And we welcome today Tina Throckmorton, a very familiar face around St. Luke's. I'm sure you've seen her doing all sorts of things that we'll talk about today. So Tina, welcome.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Oh, I'm going to turn up my volume so I can hear you. There we go. So we always start with, please just tell us a little bit about your history at St. Luke's, when you came to be here and how long you've been here, if you care to share that.
I'll share. I'm a sharer. We have been at St. Luke's for 11 years. So came in 2009. We moved to Houston in February of 2009 with a 2-year-old and a little infant, a little 8-week-old, who's now in middle school. And so we were doing some church shopping because my understanding and our understanding was that when you move to Texas from someplace up north, the way that you get sort of a community around you and you meet people is through church, especially when you have small kids. So we came to St. Luke's on Easter, actually. That was the first time we came to St. Luke's. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Which isn't the typical Sunday, really. And Jerry and I, both being musicians, we were both super impressed with the music, obviously. Julia Fox was soloist, the brass, all of that. People were really friendly. Our kids behaved, so we weren't kicked out. So we kept coming back. Well, that questionable always. But I think I did. I was still sort of in a like post-birth fog, hormonal fog that women can use as an excuse for bad behavior for a while. But we did keep coming back because we loved a lot of things about it, and it was very convenient to where we lived at the time. And so after many Sundays, Jerry said to me, he said, well, you should join that choir. And I said, oh, like, how could I possibly do that with these kids and trying to get settled here and everything? And I did say, because I had never been in a church choir before, so my deepest apologies to everyone who this may offend, because now I'm one of them. No, I said, well, aren't like church choirs are just mostly like old people, right? And so we made sure and we watched the processional, and there were people of all ages, which is something that I have really come to treasure about our choir and just about all the involvement I have with the church. So I called, I don't remember who I called, maybe BB, and I showed up one Wednesday night, and as they say, the rest is history.
Yeah. Well, Easter is a good first Sunday if you're going to have to pick one, so especially at St. Luke's. So talking about some music and stuff, you've been involved in all aspects of music and fine arts, I think, at St. Luke's. Do you want to kind of give us an overview of different things you've been involved with, apart from the choir, obviously?
Right. Well, and the only thing I'm totally, I don't know whether or not I'm qualified to be involved with anything, but one thing I'm completely disqualified from is anything visual arts related. Okay. So you will not find me hanging in the rotunda gallery.
I mean, that's not true. You've been doing stuff with the driveway.
Well, okay.
That's a visual. Yeah.
Yeah. And if I sing while I do it, then maybe that counts for something. I don't know.
There you go. Just start taking pictures of all the driveways you do, and then we'll put them in the rotunda.
Perfect. Yes. And I'm considering starting a business, so I can.
Exactly. Yeah. Great promotion.
Price tag. Yeah, I mean, yes, I have been involved in a lot of things. Of course, Chancel Choir, and shortly after I joined Chancel Choir, then I started bringing my kids to song play class that was taught by Julie Osterman, and then a year or two later, I was teaching song play classes. We, of course, I mean, the theater, the Rotunda, and all the theater projects and Tapestry Players, that goes without saying. That's maybe like a whole other episode where I could explain how I got involved with that. But it was really a huge blessing for me to find a place that did that, because I really kind of thought that it was going to be a long time before I would be able to do anything related to theater, acting, dancing, any of that.
Sure.
So that was, that really kind of changed my life when I heard I guess there was going to be a summer workshop of a show that we did. They used to call it Bridges Summer Stock. And so I signed up for that. And then we've done lots of things, and here we are with Tapestry Players as many years later. What else have I done in music and fine arts?
Well, and you didn't know about Tapestry or the Rotunda when you came to St. Luke's, did you? That wasn't something that was on your radar when you wanted to visit?
No, I didn't know there was a theater in the building or anything.
That must have been a pleasant surprise.
It was when I found out. I mean, I was like, oh, that's cute, a little black box theater. Because I really had just I truly had put that aside. I was like, okay, this is what's going to go here until my kids can drive or something.
Right.
You know. But then, of course, I mean, our whole family has been involved in shows, and my kids have come up through all of the song play classes, Joyful Noise, Children's Choir. Now they're both in Pure Sound. And I mean, I don't know, is there anything else to be involved with music and fine arts? And I've become involved with Pure Sound too. So it's a joy.
Well, and you've been involved more than most with Tapestry, especially just with directing some of the shows and performing. And
true. And when I first came, we didn't yet have Tapestry Players. That was something that many of us created together.
That's right.
About 8 years ago. So.
Wow. Well, so kind of piggybacking off of that, do you want to tell us about some of the creative ways you've come up with staying connected with people during this whole pandemic time?
Okay, staying connected with people, like our Chancel Choir people, or play readings, or...
So specifically, I'm thinking of maybe Fun Time with Tina and your virtual play readings, if you want to elaborate on those.
I can try. Okay, so it's just amazing to me. I looked at the calendar, and today marks 6 months since that first virtual worship Sunday that we had. So I don't know anyone who thought in the very beginning that this was going to go on as long as it was going to. Maybe there were much smarter people than me out there who knew, but I never imagined. So, you know, whenever we had our first Wednesday night Chancel Choir Zoom, just to get together to check in, of course, Sid put that together. And maybe it was in like week 2 of pandemic time. And we chatted, and people expressed their concerns, and we always do joys and concerns. And it was certainly nice to see those. I mean, we have, for those who don't know, when we get together on Chancel Choir Zooms, we have about 4 screens full of people. So just to see everybody's face, it was so exciting. But it did feel a little sad when we signed off of that first one. So I just texted Sid and said, could I maybe arrange like bingo or some kind of game for next week when we do this, like something a little lighthearted? Because at that point, we just weren't sure if the world was going to end or what. So I found out how to do the virtual bingo, and people wanted to participate, and we played that. And that
and you forced some to participate against their will too.
Like you specifically?
Yeah.
You didn't want to play bingo? Well, you won, didn't you?
No, I don't think it was bingo. I think it was another game at some point that you forced me to play that.
Right, yeah.
It was one of those high pressure, high stakes games where you have to like think quick and there's a time limit, and I get nervous just thinking about it.
Are your palms
a little bit,
right
yeah.
Now? Don't worry, I have no questions. I have no
I know, it's payback today because I have the questions for you.
No. But yeah, so then it was just kind of like, well, that was fun. Maybe, do you think we should do it next time? Yes, please, let's do it next time, because it was just fun to see everyone smiling and laughing. And so I mean, Google is one's friend. And sometimes I used my own creative brain, but yeah, we've done what? Scavenger hunt, Mad Libs, categories, trivia, tons of stuff. It's been fun.
There's even been a little bit of baking in there too.
That's right. My dream realized of having my own cooking show by having everyone make a mug cake together.
That was fun. I considered just calling this week's episode, or just renaming the show, Fun Time with Tina. So.
Someday we can be co-hosts of a show like that.
There's the dream. So tell us a little bit about the virtual play readings too.
Virtual play readings have been one of the most amazing things for me of this whole time. The very first week, I just knew, I thought, well, okay, this is a good time. When we thought we were just going to be in our houses for a couple weeks, back to that concept, I thought this is a really good time to read through a bunch of plays and shows, which is something I always want to do to kind of keep ahead of being able to help pick things for the various Tapestry Players, Pure Sound, all of the things that I do. So I thought, well, okay, there's this Zoom thing. Could I get some people together to do it? And then even in the very beginning, people were having shows canceled that they were supposed to be in or postponed. And it's just, it was hard, as we know. And then I thought, well, I really only want to read comedies right now. So I created a Facebook group called More Comedy, Less Tragedy. And I said, hey, would anyone be interested in getting together to read a play this week? And a lot of people raised their hand. The first one we did was the Odd Couple female version. And it was so fun. I mean, it was just so much fun, and it just gave everyone a little bit of a couple hours of respite from everything else that was going on. And so what happened with it was, I said, okay, well, let's just do this every week until this is over. Maybe we'll do it for 6 weeks. Gosh, wouldn't that be crazy if we could read 6 plays, And so I said, add people to this Facebook group that who might enjoy it. And so people started adding people from all over the place. It started out, kind of my base current theater friends, but I added some people I knew in New York, and then they added people, and it just, so we did it every week up until August, and now we're on a once a month rotation, but we read, and right now I'm having a Steel Magnolias marathon in September, and we are actually doing every week in September because so many ladies were interested in reading that play. So we have 3 casts. But I never would have dreamed that I could say I made new friends during this time. And I've made new friends through these play readings. I have not been in the same room with them, but I've been in the same little boxes with them, and reconnected with people I had performed with on the East Coast. It was just a joy to have all these. That's something, when will I ever get to perform with those people again? So it's been really cool.
Well, and most importantly, you've fostered young and up and coming talent such as myself.
That's right. Yes. I've submitted your reels to various agents, and yes, but for those who don't know, Jim his specialty is the sitcom genre,
Yes.
specifically the classic sitcom genre, and he's played Gilligan, and in the Dick Van Dyke Show, what's the character's name? Buddy, in the Dick Van Dyke Show. So yes, we don't restrict ourselves solely to plays either. We've done sitcoms, we've done The Princess Bride, not as well as the original cast of The Princess Bride did when they got together for that
Right.
thing earlier this week. But we were pretty darn good. So anyways, yes, I may have some news for you soon from an agent or something.
Excellent. I'll look forward to that. Well, so in addition to all that, we've bonded over this, love of sitcom readings and play readings now. We've also bonded over the fact that we both used to live in Princeton, and we both went to school in Princeton, but only one of us went to school at Princeton. I'll let people figure out which was which. Do you want to tell us?
Trivia. Yeah.
What's that?
Maybe we need some kind of quiz.
Yeah.
To figure it out. Anyways, sorry to interrupt.
Do you want to tell us what you went to Princeton for, and what your favorite thing about the town and the university was?
Okay. Well, I studied, my major at Princeton was comparative literature, and I had a certificate in theater and dance. They didn't do minors at Princeton then. And it was a dream. I mean, it was a wonderful place to be. I loved living there. I grew up in Kansas City, so it was just a completely different kind of a world for me, the East Coast vibe and all that. So my favorite thing about campus, well, you mean like my favorite place on campus, or just?
Could be anything. Just your favorite thing about going to school at Princeton. Whatever that could be. It doesn't have to be a physical thing on campus, but.
Yeah, I mean, I loved so many things. I was involved with a lot of theater there. I have amazing memories of the arch sings there. I did not actually sing in an a cappella group, but that was such a fun thing to do. There were all these a cappella groups, male, female, mixed voice, and it's such a beautiful architecture campus. So late at night, the groups would get together for what's called an arch sing, and they would perform, and they'd just kind of rotate. So a lot of friends and I did that a lot. And really my dearest friends in the world now are still my girlfriends from college. There's 7 of us who try to get together every year at some place we all live in the States, in the United States, which is kind of amazing. Yeah, and then the town of Princeton, that would probably all revolve around food. Like what I remember most, it revolved around food.
Were you a regular at Hoagie Haven then?
Hoagie Haven for sure. I was just telling my kids about Hoagie Haven and the Western omelet hoagie, which they were like, ugh, and I was like, it's so good.
I used to love the Dirty Sanchez. That was my favorite.
And look at you ended up in Texas. And T Sweets, Thomas Sweets, PJ's Pancake House. Yeah, so mostly we ventured into town to eat.
Yeah, it was great food. For people who don't know, where I went to school, Westminster Choir College was like 3 blocks from the Princeton campus. I think probably 99% of Princeton students didn't know there was another college in town, but we were there. Yeah, well, you're in the 1%, But yeah, I remember I would come home from church rehearsals on Thursday nights, and I was probably around 9 o'clock or so, and I'd see the arch sing. So I'd find a parking spot, and I'd get out, and I'd go listen, and yeah, fun times. And then I'd go get a sandwich from Hoagie Haven. So yeah.
Life does not get better than that.
Yeah. So even though you lived in Princeton, but you also lived in New York City for a long time, right? Do you have
15 years.
Yeah. So do you have a favorite thing about New York City, and maybe any insider tips for people when they visit?
Ooh, boy. Uh, favorite thing about New York City? Well, again, for me, everything relates to people. I mean,
Oh.
and maybe to food too.
Mm-hmm.
I just, we really miss our New York family. Jerry grew up in New York, and when in Queens, in the tri-state area. So when we left to come to Texas, he was like, enough, but you had to kind of drag me here kicking and screaming. But I can, this is, I'm getting off topic here. I can see now the great values of raising a family here as opposed to there. But we do really miss our family, and there are foods that we miss, of course, which I am known to talk about ad nauseum. So I will not bore people here. Bagels, Chinese food, pizza. Yeah.
Black and whites.
Black and whites, exactly. And I miss the weather. I miss it so much. I miss the cold weather. I miss that about Kansas City, Princeton, and New York City.
Yeah. Oh, I know Princeton this time of year, or soon, is just the best.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. I just, I'm like a person who doesn't sit still very well, as you may know. So the New York hustle bustle culture it worked for me. We lived for 10 years of the 15 years that I lived in New York in Brooklyn, Brooklyn Heights. It's gorgeous. There's an insider tip. If you ever go, and the weather's good, walk across the Brooklyn Bridge, explore that area. Brooklyn is it became a big hipster place after we left, but I loved it before it was hip. And I know this is one of Sid's favorite things to do too, but take the Staten Island Ferry. It's almost free. I mean, maybe it's the cost of a Metro card.
And you did a lot of shows in New York too, right?
I did perform in New York. I was never like on Broadway or off Broadway, but I did a lot of performing. I performed with amateur groups. I directed and choreographed. I tried for a little while to get a super duper professional career going, which also, when I took time off of my day job, or whatever we want to call it, safety job, coincided with the time of 9/11. So it was just a weird time in our world. But yes, seems no matter where I live, I find a show to do.
That's great though. So speaking of shows, this may be the toughest question you have to answer all day. I don't know. If you had to choose, which you do because I'm telling you to, what are your top 3 favorite musicals?
Okay. Favorite questions always make me sweat, like I'm starting to sweat. Okay. Sorry. So, I'm an indecisive person. Ask anyone who's had to sit with me and make a decision about anything. I feel bad for them. Okay. Ragtime, The Music Man. I don't want to keep you waiting here, so.
It's okay, we can edit out all the dead time.
Okay, good. Well, I'll be back in an hour. No, I'm going to go with Ragtime, The Music Man. No, hold on. I knew you were going to ask something like this too. I did, and I didn't really think it through. Those are my top 2. Those are my top 2. Say this. Those are my top 2. My top 2 are Ragtime and Music Man. I think they are both perfectly constructed musicals for a lot of reasons, and they're in very different eras. So number 3 is it's too many.
Sure.
I can't choose. So
Grace wanted to ask what your top 5 were. I narrowed it down to 3.
Thank you.
And I'll never forget Ragtime, because that was the question that that I think you asked in that Chancel Choir game and you were like, it's Tina's favorite musical. And I could not for the life of me remember, even when you guys gave the hint that it began with like a letter R, and oh man, I was sweating over that. So, well, since you're already sweating, the next question you should know was coming is, what are your top 5 favorite things right now that we ask everybody? Right, so you had fair warning on this one.
I did, so I don't have to sweat about that.
Yeah, and this can be anything.
I wrote them down.
Excellent.
I know, so I won't keep anybody waiting. So my first thing is my kids right now, and really all kids in general, because what they're doing and what they're going through is unbelievable, and they're my heroes, and I'm very proud of them. My kids, and I know everybody's kids are some variation of this, but they're in 6th grade and 8th grade, and they have to sign on to Zoom at 8:40 in the morning and go through their class schedule all day long on Zoom, and they get done at 3:55 with little breaks. And so I just think they're amazing, and I'm so proud of them, and they have far more patience and resilience and intelligence than I could ever hope to. Second thing is the TV show Modern Family. We binged that kind of all summer. That was our family binge show, and we finished it about a week ago, and there were tears. So we're having a hard time finding a replacement for that. We're trying. Okay, number three, Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's, best hands down food shopping experience I've had during the pandemic. I am totally loyal to them, and almost everything there except pumpkin spice flavored things, delicious. Okay.
And that's where you get the peanut butter pretzels that are so good, right?
They're the best ones too. Like I tried some from H-E-B the other day, so I hope I'm not banned from H-E-B after this, but they weren't as good as Trader Joe's. Okay, fourth one is Dolly Parton. Like I've always liked Dolly Parton, like what's not to like? I mean, she's amusing, she's an amazing artist, singer, person, but in the beginning of pandemic time, one of the little habits I developed was I had a coloring book, one of those adult coloring books. I mean, not adult, but for adult coloring. So, and it was Dolly Parton quotes, and it had been laying around forever, and I was always one of those people who thought, who has time to color? Like, who really has time for this? But what a nice little gift this was, and I kept it. So I've been coloring during online church every week, part of the first week. And so then I went on a sort of quest to learn more about her and listen to more of her music. And she's just a really cool person. And I mean, she's supported things in terms of trying to get this vaccine and everything. And there's a podcast, it's Dolly Parton's America. I don't remember when it came out, but I just listened to the first episode yesterday. Really good, really entertaining. And then this is a crazy thing because we all have a love-hate relationship with it, but I think one of my favorite things right now has to be Zoom. I mean, how else would all of this stuff be possible, right? The play readings and the getting together and with people. I can't imagine having gone through the past 6 months without it. I'm sure there would have been something else.
I know it is sort of like the bane of our existence and also like a lifeline. Good. That's a lot. I love that. It's such a great, varied list. So I know, and I'm regretting now. I should have spaced out better all these like favorite questions. But since we're in the groove now, it's time for the rapid fire round.
Okay.
And
I have a goal.
Yes, you have a goal. And we have had our first champion, David Gow, at the end of last season, did win with seconds left. Sid wanted me to add into this one, though, that if you don't beat David, you have to do a high kick for us.
Okay, well, and here's the other thing. I told David it was my goal to beat him, and he said if I did, he would never speak to me again.
Oh, so do you kind of lose either way then?
Well, y'all lose if I have to do a high kick. And okay, so.
So I'm going to get my timer here set for 1 minute.
That becomes American Horror Story.
Yeah, right. Okay, get my questions all ready here. Okay, you ready? Do you need a glass of water? You need to breathe? Okay.
I'm good.
All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Kenny and Ziggy's or Katz's Deli?
Kenny and Ziggy.
What color is your toothbrush?
Orange.
What's worse, laundry or dishes?
Dishes.
Burger or taco?
Taco.
Work hard or play hard?
Work hard.
Toilet paper, over or under?
Over.
Dine in or delivery?
Delivery.
Thomas Sweet or Halo Pub?
Thomas Sweet.
Bob Fosse or Gwen Verdon?
Bob Fosse.
Bagels or English muffins?
Oh, bagels.
Drama or comedy?
Comedy.
Small World or Starbucks?
Starbucks.
Houston or New York City?
Oh, New York City.
Chocolate chip or black and whites?
Black and white.
Acting or directing?
Acting.
Target or Walmart?
Target.
What's your dream role?
Mother in Ragtime.
Succulents or air plants? That was it.
Succulent.
I think you have to do a high kick.
Okay. Woo!
You were close though. You got to 18.
How did I not? I didn't even stumble with any of my words.
I'm telling you, those precious seconds, they go by.
Now David will speak to me.
I know, but you get to keep a friend. So really, I think you win.
Win.
Well, as you know, we always close with what is, I won't say favorite, what is one song or piece of music that you would recommend that viewers listen to after watching your interview?
Okay, I did think about this. I just last week, because it was the anniversary of September 11th, re-listened to Come From Away, the musical. It's really a cool story, and the music is interesting. It's well worth the hour or so. I mean, I know it's not one song, so it's not like 3 to 5 minutes.
We'll let it slide.
Yeah.
as a pity for not winning rapid fire round, we'll let it slide.
So much. I would recommend that everyone listen to the original Broadway cast recording of Come From Away.
Great. Awesome. Well, Tina, thank you so much for fun time with Tina today. It's nice to be on the other side asking you the questions and not being the one that's under pressure. So.
Love it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So thank you. And I will see you, I guess, on tomorrow, Wednesday. I don't know what day it is for rehearsal. Yeah. So. All right. And let me know what the agents say for when you need me next. So.
Posted.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye.